Burkina Faso, and I just, as a little girl, I noticed that I was treated differently. So looking around, I found out that my four brothers were having a different life, having fun, that men could listen to the radio, read the newspaper, and finish the day under a tree. And as you might know, in Burkina Faso, it's very warm. It can be like 40 degrees in April, and even when you go on your motorbike on the street, you feel the warm wind against your body. So men can sit under a tree and listen to the radio, and I was having the boring part of the story, because then I had to help my mom in the kitchen and go to the well. Is that the well?
Yes, the well.
Go to the well, and I'm speaking French and Dutch more often than English. So I go to the well and get water. And when you do your hair in Africa, it can be quite painful. And when you get the water on your head, going back home, I was very frustrated. And I thought I might be able to change my life. So what can I do? So I just started refusing to be treated like a girl, because when I asked questions, I was told, it's because you're a girl. I just didn't want to imagine what could still happen to me or with me in the future, because I was a girl. That was not good news. So I started refusing doing things that I was supposed to be doing. And I recently even wrote a book about it, Because You're a Girl, in French, Parce que tu es une fille, about female genital mutilation. I underwent at age 5. So all these things that happened to me first made me aware of something. But it was later not only about me. I just found out it was also about other women. And in society, I found out that other women were also worrying about the same issues as my mom. It was not only my mom. So I just discovered that society was organized in such a way that things were happening in a certain way in my life and in other people's lives. So I just, searching my way, I found step by step that society had not always been like that. If someone organized it like that, then it's possible to deconstruct it and organize it differently. But I was just still busy thinking and searching until on December 13, 1998, Norbert Zongo, who was just a friend of mine, I went to him looking for answers, and he was a journalist for a daily newspaper called The Independent. And he was arguing for freedom of speech, saying that we must have the freedom to think. And I was arguing with him for months, saying, why do you argue for freedom to think, la liberté de penser, s'exprimer? I think everything I want, and I'm even lucky nobody knew what I was thinking all the time. So why do you need someone to allow you to think? And when he got assassinated in 1998, that was the moment that I decided I was going to do politics and fight for human rights and fight for freedom of speech and equal opportunities for men and women, instead of going further on a career as a journalist. That was the start of the idea. And when I arrived in Belgium in 2004, it was very natural for me to decide to join a political movement, and that was the Liberal Party, to continue what I had started.
Thank you very much, Assita. That's a wonderful introduction. That's a beautiful story. Now, tell us about yourself. You are now candidate for the Belgian elections. Where exactly do you want to go to the region? And what exactly do you want to do there? Do you want to still defend these values? Do you want to change the system here? Or do you want to change something about the people who are sitting here? What exactly is your angle?
So I am running for national elections, so for federal parliament on the 4th place, and the list is pulled by Didier Reynders, who is our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs. The idea of, I'm wishing good luck to Abdul here for regional parliament. My passion is laying at national level, because I would like to fix issues that people from the north of Belgium and the south are both concerned with. I speak Dutch, and I go to Flanders, where I like to meet people there too. We ultimately have to work together. And I have also a lot of interest in global issues, like international affairs, like aid, like, you cannot say that something that is happening, just like I figured out as a little girl that things were interconnected. I know today, as I know better, and as you probably know too, that things that happen in Burundi, in Burkina Faso, or in Guinea are not just happening there because are not disconnected from the rest of the world. We can say something here in Parliament or do something here and something will happen there. I still feel connected with the people there, although I feel that Belgium is my country and I'm very happy here and well integrated. I still feel that global connection, and I would like to be somewhere where I can influence politics here, while not stopping having my say and having kind of influence on politics there. And I think that competence is at national level. Why am I running for these elections? Maybe you know how many people from African origin are sitting in national parliament. I don't know if you had the opportunity to meet them yet. And how many women. I happen to be black, I think this is visible, to be a woman, and to be young. So I'm 33, so 18 years, it was not that long time ago. I'm 33 right now. How many young people, or black people, or women are in parliament? So I have some priorities. When I run for election now, I don't want to tell you what things are good about my party, what is bad about others, because I think politics is about working together, especially in Belgium, in this situation where we can have 500 days without a government. And I think too that in order to be able to get your message through, is just to present what you stand for. And I'm not going to tell you what the ML is standing for. I think Charles Michel is doing a great job as a president. Otherwise, he has to give his job to me. But I'm going to say what I am standing for in this party, and these are just 4 things. First of all, I think we are the only country where you can have the impression that you pay to work. C'est comme si on payait pour travailler. Can you imagine, just imagine the scene that I come to you, Pendo, I need a job, I have to work, and I give you money so that you allow me to work. That is the idea of taxes in our country. Just try to start your own business today. My friend Chantal, who is in the room, knows a lot about microcredits for people who want to start their own business as living independent. What happens to you? A lot of taxes, a lot of administrative work, lots of social charges. So all these things, I think when someone wants to work, do not stop him. Yes, my mother is earning about 900 euros per month as a cleaning lady. When I see, it's not only about my mother, it's about all the mothers around, or all the people who have such a low-paid job and who have to pay. When I see how much taxes she has to pay, I feel pain. I feel pain about it. Not only for her, but all the others. I have a good job. I earn my life correctly. But to go home and sleep with my money and my food in my stomach is not enough for me. I need to stand up and fight for others so that they can have a better life too. So my first aim is to influence a fiscal reform when I go into parliament and fight for it so that low wages can be, set a bit freer of taxes. Like today, we are like having about 7,000 euros that is free for taxes in 12 months' time, in 1 year time. I would like that to be doubled, because this is nothing. It's about around 600 euros per month. A lot of workers are living a poor life, and when you are a woman, imagine if you have to face all other things. You are a woman, you have to face violence, maybe at home, and you work because you want to use your money to be independent and to be free. Imagine you are a migrant and you want to send a lot of money back home to Western Union. I think you really pay taxes twice, to the Belgian government and home. So I think we all gain by paying less taxes, because this is a means to freedom to be able to survive thanks to our work. Because a job is the best social protection that one can have. My second point is, and that's not, I'm just quoting my president, and I think the same, it's the best social protection because it gives you dignity and autonomy. My second state is, of course, about equal opportunities for men and women. I think this is non-negotiable. It's not because I do not have to become a white man, 50 years old, in order to be an heterosexual, in order to be paid the same amount for the same job and the same competencies. I think the fact of being a human being is enough to be respected, and people must, give you back what you give them. I don't want women to be undergoing FGM or forced marriages or honor crimes because of religious principles or because of traditional principles that are being, that have remaining within the families. I would like that to be removed through education and through proper information for the people. And also to the application of law, because I cannot imagine how I can be sleeping at night and doing nothing at all when I know that about 4,000 girls are likely to be circumcised in Belgium. That every minute that is passing, 5 girls are being circumcised in the world. That's about 3 million girls per year, about 8,000 girls per day. This is 10 million girls in the, 30 million girls in the 10 coming years. I cannot just take my money and go home and sleep. That's why I'm fighting in politics. My third point is about, normalizing the fact that I am on the 4th place on the list, normalizing, hopefully, the fact that I'll be sitting, I hope, in National Parliament, that people like me can be somewhere without someone asking you what you're doing here. I remember when I was working for the Flemish Liberals in the Brussels Parliament as an advisor, someone came and asked me, what are you doing here? And I'm working. Actually, people don't expect you to be there. Where merit is not linked to gender or to colors. I would like it to become very normal that people like me or like you also get into higher office. Winston Churchill said he was going to have a very beautiful role in history as he intended to write it himself. Do you think that we can change something in this country that is today ours when we stay outside of the system? It doesn't matter in which political party you are. You have to get in and have power. Without the power to change, you cannot change. And I would like to have the power to change, to have the power to influence, and to actually show that Belgium is Belgian. I do not know, I never saw on a passport that you can be 50% Belgian or 90% Belgian. Why is it so that some people say you must get integrated? Okay, you must learn some languages in Belgium. You must, drop everything that is not okay with the law. You have to comply with the rule of law, okay? But what happens when you do all that? Like you or like me? And someone still think I'm not Belgian enough. I'm sorry. It's like Didier Reynders facing the same problem when in Brussels and people feel he's not pas assez bruxellois. What do I have to do to become Belgian? I'm sorry, but I love Belgium. And if you love your country, it is your country, and nobody's going to take it away. So on the one, the success of integration is a shared responsibility. On the one hand, I agree that people have to. On the other hand, when they do, please accept them. Everyone can become prime minister in the ideal world, as I said yesterday, wearing a blue, I don't know the name in English, a blue, no, not a tie, nez papillon, just like the prime minister on the Flemish TV yesterday, saying that in the ideal world, everyone can become prime minister, not only Obama in the United States. My last point on what I'm running for is international policy, as I said before. I would like to be also involved in the agenda. I think maybe I'm very well placed to know what is going on in the life of a poor little girl or child in Burkina Faso than someone who never grew up there. Today, everything is global. And I would like to have my say, to have my part of influence in how we deal with cooperation, in how we deal with international relations, in how we decide about what we're going to say about education abroad or whatever. And I think stimulating the private sector, thinking and finding new ways to replace aid in the long run will be the best answer to people there, because I still feel for them.
So, before we get there, you have Assita right here, and she's in front of you. What would you like to ask her?
I don't bite.
Yeah, that's what she says. Thank you.
For instance, my question goes to you. For instance, as a migrant who live in Belgium, and you are going to a shop to shop for clothing or making a shopping for foodstuffs and stuff, and you walked into a shop as a migrant, and you've been looked at different by the sales person who is in the shop there, like, what are you doing here? Why you have your money in your pocket? My question is this, what will you do to stop that? It might not be me, it might be someone else. Thank you.
Okay, Assita, are you going to be able to stop this, or him, Mr. D-Large, from being looked at like he's got money in his pocket every time he walks into a shop?
If I had a shop, I would invite you to come and buy everything so that I get your money. But I don't have one. I mean, I'm not going to promise to be able to stop everything. I only make promises I can keep. So I promise, of course, I will do my best to improve this. And what needs exist in my mind right now is that what happened when you go into that shop and that you are treated like that. It also happened to me one day when I was coming back from sport and not wearing a suit. So it's because of prejudice. You come in and the person in the shop only sees a black man. It doesn't see a human being, a citizen with equal rights and duties. You are reduced to a primary aspect of your identity. And that is linked to the global prejudice in society. What would happen if we had more role models, more visible, successful black men and women? Then, when you go to a shop in the US, maybe they think you might be the next Obama. I don't know. I think what I will do, and what I really want to do it, I already organize some meetings between women from here and also women living here and who are from Africa in order to create a network. I think that when we have solid networks on diversity, people from diversity, and when we have positions of power in society, that when they see you, they can imagine something else because there is space in their heads to imagine something else. Have you ever seen a lot of black men or women having high office? Maybe they exist, but you don't see them often. That's why I'm so grateful that Sema Talk Show brings everyone here. Look at them. They are not walking naked on the street and not taking a shower. Like, all these things can exist in people's minds. One day one guy asked me, do you really sleep in trees in Africa? That was when I arrived in Belgium my first week. I was very surprised that he could think that. And do you know that running water exists? I was very surprised. So what I would do in my career is to take younger people from diversity also with me. As I go up, to take them with me. So one day, one of them, helping me now, volunteering for my campaign, told me, what happened when you go up and we are still down and you don't do anything for us? I think that would be a big mistake. When you go up, nobody should be down. If someone is down, then you went up without them. It's to take people along with you. So when we have more leaders, more business leaders, more political leaders looking like us, then we will have less prejudice in society. Besides that, there are laws, and even this shop owner is also is actually also living under the rule of this law. So it's important to file, to go to police and say what happened. Maybe they will not believe you. It's very hard to give evidence for these kind of things, but you could fight for it and tell someone about it and not be alone facing it. I think that law should be applied in these kind of issues.
Assita, this question is to you. The two of you talked about lowering taxes. I wonder how this government can survive without taxes. Can you tell this house?
Thank you. Assita.
I'm more worried about how the workers will survive than how the government will survive. Because they do not have any trouble surviving. If you see their pay is not like our pay, that's first of it. Secondly, when you reduce taxes, what happens in society? You go home, you have a better, more money in your pocket because you've paid less taxes on your wage. When you go home, you bring your wife to a restaurant, or your wife is earning more, she will bring you to a restaurant, she'll buy food for you. You look happy, you go home, your kids are happy, everything is great. Research shows that when people are happy, their kids will succeed better at school. And then when they grow up, they are less likely to drop out of school and get into unemployment. Just look around you and check who is earning less, who is actually having the low pays and doing the little jobs like my mom being a cleaning lady. Mostly migrants who are already a little bit fragilized in society and searching their way. What happens when you come home and you are always worried about how you're going to survive at the end of the month? How do you help your kids with schoolwork? How do you support them for their studies? And then you get sick, maybe you get a depression, and then maybe you cannot work. You know, all this, it's a vicious circle. I believe that when people can, feel happy and proud, especially proud, then it's good also for your health. And what happens when you go to that restaurant and pay 21% of VAT on what you've eaten? This is more money for the business of the restaurant. Okay. I see a lot, I'm just finishing, I see a lot of restaurants closed or open and there is nobody inside because people don't have money to go out, so the economy is not turning. When you pay that, you are happy, your family is happy, and the guy in the restaurant is happy because he sold something. He will also do, I think this will create a virtuous circle. And for the social assistance, the national pocket will not be empty because the economy is stimulated, and this is going in the year 2000, the government made a big tax reform, like billions of euros, and that helped a lot to create a dynamism in the economy to start getting new jobs for people and giving more happiness to people.
Is there anybody else with a question? Yes, please, sir.
My question is to the lady who spoke, and she mentioned something about happiness and money. I just want to tell her that in this country, money does not make people happy.
Assita, you have a problem.
I did not say that money is making people happy. But I think when you are worried about how you're going to pay studies for your child, because it's the lower salaries that are feeling the pain the most, the fiscal pain the most. When you have a little salary and you take a lot from it, then you feel it the most, and actually your kids are also in need compared to someone who has a lot more. So what happens in that? Unhappiness for sure. I cannot guarantee that more money would bring happiness, and that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it would ease people's life for practical reasons. That when you go to high school it's expensive. You have to, when you go to work and you have to pay a babysitter for a kid, it's expensive. Lots of things are expensive. That was what I had mentioned. When you are in unemployment, you cannot be happy when you are in unemployment. When taxes are reduced, companies can create more jobs, SMEs can dare to hire more personnel because the cost is lower. And what happened is that people who did not have a job can have one. And what happens is that people who have a low salary, too much tax, can also enjoy more, freedom on how they use the pay. That was what I wanted to say.